So I'm down here checking out my lead acid RV battery. It does require a little bit of maintenance. It's not something I'm used to thinking about or doing, so I wanted to come check it out and see if there's anything I need to do to this one. I'm used to having a lithium battery. That's what we had in the Solitude. We're temporarily staying in this camper. And I thought to myself, you know, I need to go check out that battery and see if it needs any of the maintenance that these batteries do require. So if you guys have a basic lead acid, deep cycle battery in your RV, stick around. We're going to go over some tips, some basic maintenance, and then we're just going to break down a few pros and cons of all the different styles of batteries, what the battery does in your RV, why it's necessary, and just basically how to take care of them. So stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris, and today we're basically talking all things batteries. We're going to talk about some of the maintenance, some of the tips and things you need to do to take care of these batteries. One of them is something that we all seem to forget and really just don't check anymore. So I do want to get to that in a little bit. But first, why do we need batteries in the RV? Well, first of all, everything in the RV either runs off 120 volt or 12 volt. So even when you're hooked up to 120 volt shore power, you still need the 12 volt battery to be working, because what that 120 volts is doing, it's actually running through what's called your converter, not to be confused with your inverter, but it's using that converter to basically step down that 120 volt AC power down to 12 volt DC power so that you can still operate all the things that do run off a 12 volt system. Now, if you have an inverter, that is totally opposite. That is when you are not hooked up to shore power and you then need to convert that 12 volt power DC, and you need to convert it up to basically 120 volt AC to run things like air conditioners, residential fridges, and some outlets. But we're not going to dive into that too much today. Let's talk batteries real quick. So I always had a lithium iron phosphate battery. Lithium battery basically requires no maintenance whatsoever. And we'll do some of the pros and cons of all these different types of batteries. So you have two basic types of battery. You're either going to have a lithium or you're going to have the lead acid batteries. Now, if you have a lead acid battery, it could be broken down into a AGM battery or a gel acid battery. Those three are basically the same kind of technology inside of them, but they do have pros and cons and different maintenance that's required on those three. And then again, the lithium battery, which basically requires no maintenance whatsoever. We're going to break down some pros and cons of each one and what might be right for you guys. So with the basic lead acid battery right here, one of the pros is that it's just flat out cheap. Now, this is a deep cycle battery. You can also have a lead acid battery, which would be considered a starter battery, like in your vehicles or on like the chassis of a motorhome. A starter battery is going to vary from a deep cycle battery just on how the power is basically distributed. Now, with this deep cycle battery right here, there is a few things that you need to do to these lead acid ones, and one of those is check the water inside of it. Now, this is something that a lot of people forget to do, and if you don't do this every once in a while and check the water levels, it's going to eventually dry out and you're going to kill that battery a lot faster, and you're going to have to go buy a new one. So that's one of the biggest maintenance, and people really forget about these things. Now, I will say, not as many of you will probably have this style of battery anymore. Most people, if they're switching over to this kind, they're now getting the AGMs and the gel batteries where you do not have to add water to those. Now, a few tips on adding water. Again, always use gloves, always put safety glasses on. But what you're looking to do is pop these caps off right here. Use a flathead screwdriver, pop them off, and you're going to look down in there with a flashlight or light. And if you see any water covering those plates, you're usually good to go. There's a little bit of a plate right down below there, and the water should sit right above it. But if you're starting to see those plates and the water level has dropped, you need to add water. You can do this simply with an old school turkey baster. They have the actual battery water. It looks like a turkey baster that you can buy in the stores, and that can actually be used to add water. You can try a funnel. You just want to be careful. You don't want to spill it everywhere, and we are kind of dealing with battery acid. Don't ever add battery acid to it. And when you do add water, make sure that it's always distilled water. Distilled water has no minerals or impurities in it, and that's what you want to add to this, because you want to keep that electrolyte basically balanced, that mix of salt and water perfectly balanced. If you start adding different kinds of water, you're going to throw that off. It's going to get imbalanced, and that's not good for the battery. So always use distilled water when doing this. Again, go outside, check your batteries. You may not even know what kind you have. And you'll be able to see these two caps right here. If you don't have the two caps, then you don't have to add water. But again, if you have the caps, you can take these off. You can carefully look in there and see if you need to top it off every once in a while. So why do we have to fill up the water in these? What's happening? Where's it going? Well, basically, that's what this is. These batteries gas off. When they are being used and they're connected, they gas off corrosive, dangerous fumes, hydrogen. Okay, we basically, H2O, 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. We don't breathe hydrogen too well, and you don't want to breathe that in. That's why these batteries are located in these front bays right here, and they're not in our basement where those fumes can get inside the coach. Not only that, that's why you have this vent right here, this hose and this cover, because you want those hydrogen gases to go outside. And when they do gas off, eventually it's basically burning off some of that water, and the water level will drop. So you need to replace, again, with the distilled water every once in a while. Probably I'd recommend, checking it every 2 or 3 months. Coming out here, it takes 2 seconds, pop it off, check it, see if it needs to be topped off a little bit. And this is not a stupid question, but I've seen people ask this. So if you are curious, no, the battery itself will not gas off if it's actually not connected, if it's not, drawing power. So if the battery is just sitting in your basement, not connected, no, you do not have to worry about it gassing off or putting that, dangerous hydrogen gas into the air. So, when you're storing it, it's no big deal. It's not gassing off. Now, one of the biggest cons with this lead acid style battery is it can only be discharged up to 50%. Anything below that, and you're pretty much killing the battery and it's totally dead. It can only be cycled like 500 times, and a cycle is when it goes down to that rate of depth of discharge, and then recharge it, and then down and recharge it again. And eventually it's just going to die, and it's going to be, kaput anyways. Now, you may be surprised, but a 12-volt battery, if you come out here with your multimeter and test it, and believe it or not, if it's actually just showing 12 volts when you come out here to look at it, that means that battery is already down to 50% at 12 volts. If it's reading like 10 point something, 9 point something, the battery's pretty much shot. It's pretty much no good anymore if it gets down that low. So it's always good to come out here with the multimeter once in a while and just check the battery's voltage. A lot of us, have actually voltage meters inside these rigs and things like that now, so keep an eye on that. Now, I mentioned the other 2 style batteries. If you don't have lithium, it could be possibly an AGM battery or a gel, acid battery. And basically, those do not require any water to be added to them. The gel is basically already kind of pre-mixed with like an electrolyte, like a salt in it. It doesn't require to be opened, nothing added to it, and the same with the AGM. Now, the AGM battery in those styles will run you a little bit more in cost, but they will also have more cycles, probably about, I think it's rated close to like 1,000 cycles before that battery would go dead, as well as an AGM battery will store better. For those of you who aren't full-time, a good tip is you do not want to leave these batteries sitting in the coach in storage. Yeah, you may think, okay, I went into my basement, I turned that battery disconnect switch to off. There's still always a small amount of power that's going to slowly drain these batteries. Not only that, but these batteries, just from sitting on their own, even when they are disconnected, they still lose, I believe, on average about 1 volt every 30 days. So you do not want to leave these sitting in your RV all winter in the cold or even in warm temperatures. What you want to do is you want to take them out of your coach, and you want to go ahead and bring them home, put them in your basement in your garage, and hook a trickle charger up to it, just to keep that battery voltage at a high level. Because if you let it get too low and it sits for about 5-6 months, it's going to be dead when the season comes to hook it back up, and it may be dead beyond the point of being able to jump it and restart it. So yeah, don't just assume that you can switch the battery disconnect switch to off and you're going to be good to go. And I will say that the AGM battery and gel ones, one of the other reasons they do cost a little bit more is that they actually will store a little bit better than a regular lead acid battery, so they wouldn't discharge as quick. They would store a little bit better and last a little bit longer if you didn't have it hooked up to a trickle charger. So while we touch base on some of the pros and cons of that style battery, let's talk about the lithium battery pros and cons. And we'll just jump into the con right off the way. Yes, they are expensive. They're a lot more expensive. But here's the deal. That lithium battery may last you up to 10 years plus. It can usually do anywhere from 3,000 to 7,000 cycles. And a cycle for a lithium battery, you can usually bring it all the way down to 10 to 0%, drain it all the way down, recharge it again. That's one cycle. Unlike the gel and lead acid batteries, which you can only bring it down to 50% state of charge. So you're going to get a lot more cycles out of that lithium battery. And maybe one other con of the lithium battery is the fact that they don't want to charge below freezing. They do have BMSs inside of them, battery management systems, which will help out with that. It usually shuts down the battery to protect it. But you know, it's usually not too big of a deal because it's usually not below freezing in these bays anyways. Now let's get into the numerous pros of the lithium battery. And for those of us who want solar, you need a big battery bank. Well, guess what? Lithium batteries are lighter. They're a lot lighter than these regular lead acid batteries. So when you're hooking, you know, 4, 5, 6 of these up and making big battery banks, you're going to be saving a lot on your weight, on your cargo capacity using the lithium batteries. And again, not to mention them just actually putting out more amp hours and lasting longer. Again, the lithium battery, no maintenance. You can just charge it all the way down. It's lighter, more efficient. And here's the deal. You may not need it though. If you are basically RVing and you're always going to these RV resorts, or you're pretty much always hooked up to 50 or 30 amp, it's actually not that necessary to have a lithium battery. It's not doing that much for you. So if you want to save some money, and that's sort of how you RV, you're probably best off just sticking with like an AGM or gel battery and not really switching to the lithium battery. If you're going to be boondocking and living off solar and out and about like that kind of RVing, then lithium is probably the way for you to go. It's an investment in the beginning, but kind of pays off in the end. I hope this helped you out a little bit. Just some basic maintenance stuff as the season ramps up here. As always, appreciate you watching the channel, and we'll see you next week.